All right, hi everybody, welcome back. I'm Dorothy. Thanks for joining me. So right now, I want to talk about November and what's going on with that. So right now, let me just give you a brief synopsis of November. So November's energy, the astrological energy, is Scorpio for the most part. With the sun already in the sign of Scorpio, we're looking to be a little more intense. We're looking at clearing the things that have been part of our lives for a very long time that we want to get rid of, because Scorpio is very well known for transformation. And for things to transform, we need to see what really is the root of any issue or the cause of issues that we might have in our lives. So this is an opportunity once a year, especially when the sun moves through that Scorpio energy, for us to be made aware of what is deep within, what is hidden from ourselves, what we hide from ourselves, or where this transformation in our lives need to happen. And so we're going to work with that because we have many planets moving through the sign of Scorpio and a few others, and we'll get to the details of that in a second. So wherever you have Scorpio in your chart, I will be addressing that by talking about each zodiac sign next and how that plays out. All right, hi Taurus, this is for you. So what we get to start off with, on November 2nd, the planet Mercury moves into the sign of Scorpio, and when it does that, that moves into your solar 7th house. And so when we have Mercury in the sign of Scorpio, communication can become intense, and we really want to get to the bottom of things. We want to hear about if there's any secrets going on. We might feel a little paranoid that somebody's talking about us behind our back, and we kind of want to really dig in to find out what the truth is. Now, if this goes on in your solar 7th house, that also means that you need to have some deep and intimate conversations with people who you would call a partner, whoever you have relationships with, whether it's business partner or a spouse or a boyfriend, girlfriend, however that looks for you. So when Mercury enters that sign on November 2nd and moves into that 7th house, these are the energies that you can expect will be activated and very busy over the next 3 weeks or so while Mercury makes its trek through the sign of Scorpio and that sector for you. On the same day, we also have Venus in Virgo making a conjunction to Mars in Virgo. It's at the end of Virgo, and pretty soon they're going to move to the next sign. But on November 2nd, when these two come together, they've been coming together off and on since the summer. And the reason that they're back together is because Venus was retrograde for a while. Venus in Virgo with Mars in Virgo is all about focusing in on the details, but it is that masculine-feminine connection, the female and the male coming together. When it's in Virgo, we can be very, very particular, very picky. And that is in your solar 5th house. And so this tells me too that there might be, some relationship or something that you're very passionate about, but it's hard to engage that passion with all that Virgo energy in there. But with this connection of Venus and Mars, there is a lot of passion that can come to the surface for you. Moving on to November 8th, Venus will then move, it's just a few days after this connection, Venus will move into the sign of Libra, and that will move into your solar 6th house. And so that's actually Virgo's house. So Venus is kind of feeling a little still comfortable. She's moved into her own sign, but she's just moved into the house that she was just in, by the sign of Virgo. And what that represents is that we're going to, again, focus in on partnerships and relationships in some way, but it needs to be something that's on an everyday basis almost. It doesn't absolutely have to be every day, but we're really looking at what we value in our relationships and partnerships every single day. All right, what does that mean? Maybe you don't see somebody enough, or maybe you see them too much. And what you value is more time with somebody or less time with somebody. There's always options, and we're always feeling these different things. So what you value in your relationships and how that affects your everyday living and life. We also have, moving on November 11th, a new moon. Now that is in the sign of Scorpio, 19 degrees of Scorpio to be exact. And that energy is in your solar 7th house of relationships and partnerships. And so go into my other video. I'll have another video up soon as we get closer to this time period. But the new moon in Scorpio is all about, for you, the 7th house. So grab those details and then know that it's all about your relationships and partnerships and how you're setting new goals. next November 12th, Mars then moves into the sign of Libra. Again, that goes into your solar 6th house. So there's a lot of need. We feel the heat, we feel the action. Mars in Libra can be passive aggressive energy. So if you really have something to say it. Use that Mars and use the Mercury in Scorpio to verbalize what it is you want, because when Mars is in the sign of Libra, it can be very passive aggressive. You want something, but you're only going to do it from behind the scenes. So work that piece in the best way possible. Mars in Libra hasn't been there for a couple of years. Last time it was there, it went retrograde in that sign, so we had a long time to work through relationships. Typically Mars takes 7 weeks to move through the sign, and that's how long it will take to move through your solar 6th house. So you will be focusing in on the relationships. Don't be passive aggressive, but that is the dominant energy that comes with Mars in Libra. Okay, I want to move on to November 20th. Now on November 20th, Mercury moves out of Scorpio and then into the sign of Sagittarius. That will go on into your solar 8th house. And when it moves into the solar 8th house, Mercury in Sag is pretty free-flowing with its communication. Mercury communicating, Sagittarius, mutable fire sign. So we tend to say what's on our minds. And with it in that solar 8th house of regeneration and transformation, we could say things that just need to really come up and out. We could use that Mercury energy and think things through, even more so to investigate and research things that we need to get to the bottom of. Those are ways we can use this Mercury in Sag in the 8th house. We also have on November 22nd, the Sun moving into the sign of Sagittarius, and so it will also go into that 8th house for you and highlight that area. So what is it that you're needing to research? What is it that you're looking at, especially that financial piece of the 8th house? That financial piece is represented by outside resources and finances that we're able to use or have at our disposal. Not really income that we earn, but outside resources, you know, bank mortgages, credit cards, inheritances, things like that. So that could be something that comes up for you this month while the Sun moves through there and while Mercury moves through there. And it will be a focus because we also have at the same time Saturn in that sector. And while on the 24th, Mercury will make a conjunction to Saturn in your 8th house, and on the 29th of November, the Sun will conjunct Saturn also in your 8th house. So let me kind of group all this together, and what is those last two statements all about? Mercury conjunct Saturn, Sun conjunct Saturn, all in your 8th house. So this would tell me that you're either organizing your debt and getting your debt back into order because something has gone awry, or your finances are just getting tighter and tighter and tighter right now, because that's that Scorpio energy, especially with those resources, that resource piece. So if you need to organize your finances, that's a great way to use all of these two conjunctions. So organizing your finances and really knowing over the next couple of years while Saturn's moving through this sector of your chart that you'll be reorganizing and getting a firmer foundation underneath you, which includes learning how to save, things like that, and learning how to work the stock market or whatever your gig is to save money and build a retirement. Or you're paying off a lot of debt because when Saturn moves through there, it's time to pay the piper, so to speak, and so you're working really hard on paying off some debt. So those are the ways that Saturn will work through, and all that Sagittarius energy. So we started with Mercury moving into Scorpio and igniting partnerships and relationships, and we end with Mercury and the Sun connecting with Saturn in your 8th house of finances and those types of things that you value, so you're able to really feel strong and steady going into the new year. I'm going to leave you with that. Thank you very much, and blessings. Please share. Please share. Click the button and subscribe.